the Twilight Gnome.
What is up, Gnomies? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome podcast. For this episode, we are going over our top 10 list for what, Tyler?
This will be the scariest episodes of the Twilight Zone.
So get ready. We're going to spoil some pretty scary episodes, like that one about that slot machine that chases that guy. That was terrifying.
So scary. So once again, for our top 10, Alex has made up his top 10 scariest, I've made up my top 10 scariest, we've compiled the data, and we've come up with our definitive list of the top 10 scariest Twilight Zone episodes.
Get ready to be scared, Gnomies.
Starting us off at number 10, we have Eye of the Beholder. The Twilight Zone episode Eye of the Beholder tells the story of a woman named Janet Tyler, who lives in a hospital bed with her face completely bandaged. She has undergone her 11th medical procedure in an attempt to look quote-unquote normal in a society where appearance determines one's value and acceptance. Throughout the episode, the audience never sees her face, only the reactions from the doctors and nurses as they wait to see if the surgery has finally succeeded.
Now, we have done all we could do. If we've been successful, well and good, there are no problems. But if, on the other hand, this final treatment has not achieved the desired result, please remember, Miss Tyler, that you can still live a long and fruitful life among people of your own kind.
When the bandages are removed, the staff recoil in disappointment and horror. Janet's face looks ordinary and beautiful by our standards, but in this world it is considered grotesque. The medical staff and government agents then inform her that she must go live in a segregated community with others like her. Only then does the camera reveal the face of the quote-unquote normal people. They are distorted, pig-like figures, and Janet's fate is sealed as an outcast. On a deeper level, the true horror lies in the episode's themes of conformity, social pressure, and the cruelty of a society that demands sameness at the expense of individuality. The idea that someone could be forced into exile simply for looking different is disturbing because it reflects real-world fears of exclusion and prejudice. Eye of the Beholder remains one of the Twilight Zone's most chilling commentaries on beauty, difference, and the oppressive power of social norms.
Coming in at number 9 is The Grave. This Western horror hybrid follows a hired gun named Connie Miller, who rides into town after an outlaw named Pinto Sykes is finally gunned down. But Pinto's dying words were a curse. If that Connie ever dared to visit his grave, Pinto would reach up from beyond and drag him down. Naturally, Connie is pressured into proving he's not afraid of a corpse. He ventures out to the cemetery at night, armed with only a knife and his bravado.
I still got some betting money left.
I can't afford to bet tonight. Steinhardt just took all I can afford to lose.
Well, if Steinhardt hadn't taken all your money, whose side would you be on?
I reckon I'd bet again you, Connie.
What's wrong with you? You people know me. How come all of a sudden you think I'm afraid?
Because we'd be afraid. You can draw your gun real fast, Connie. We seen you. But out in that graveyard, that gun ain't gonna be worth a copper cent.
When he stabs the knife into the ground to show he's not scared, he finds himself pinned in place and realizes too late the grave's chilling power. This episode earns its spot because it plays on the primal fear of the dark unknown. The terror doesn't come from a monster or a jump scare, it's the atmosphere, the anticipation, the shadows that may or may not move. It reminds us that sometimes the scariest things are the ones we dare ourselves to confront until it's too late.
Number 8, It's a Good Life. The Twilight Zone episode centers on a 6-year-old boy named Anthony Fremont who possesses godlike powers in a small Ohio town. He can read minds, control the environment, and make people disappear with a thought. The townspeople live in constant fear of him, forced to smile and praise everything he does, no matter how destructive or cruel. Anthony isolates the community from the outside world, cutting them off from modern conveniences, and punishes anyone who displeases him, often by banishing them to the mysterious cornfield, never to be seen again. The episode shows the townsfolk trying to celebrate a birthday under Anthony's watchful eye, but the terror makes it clear that they are prisoners in a nightmare they cannot escape.
You think bad thoughts about me. And maybe some man in this room, some man with guts, somebody who's so sick to death of living in this kind of place and willing to take a chance, will sneak up behind you and lay something heavy across your skull and end this once and for all.
You're a bad man. You're
What makes the episode so frightening is not just Anthony's immense power, but the oppressive atmosphere of fear and helplessness that surrounds him. The people must constantly censor their own thoughts, knowing that even a fleeting negative feeling could lead to their destruction. Anthony's childish whims, like turning people into grotesque shapes or erasing parts of reality, become matters of life and death. The horror lies in the complete lack of control the adults have over their world, reduced to appeasing a child who has no moral compass. The episode taps into the fears of unchecked power, the loss of free will, and the terrifying vulnerability of living under a tyrant who can read your mind and obliterate you in an instant.
At number 7, we have Mirror Image. This one follows Millicent Barnes, a young woman waiting in a nearly empty bus station late at night. But something is wrong. People insist that they've spoken to her when she knows she hasn't moved, and she begins to see a double of herself slipping through the shadows. No one believes her growing hysteria, dismissing her as unstable, until it's too late to escape her doppelganger's presence.
Well, I was just noticing it. It isn't very much, but that bag.
What about it?
Well, it's just like mine. It's identical, even to the broken handle.
What is this, some kind of a game?
What?
That is your bag, lady. You checked it.
Oh, no, that isn't my bag. It looks just like my bag, but my...
Mirror Image is terrifying because it makes you doubt your own reflection, your own sense of reality. The episode taps into the uncanny fear that maybe there's another you out there, smiling, waiting, ready to take your place. It's psychological horror in its purest form, and it sticks with you every time you glance into a mirror.
Number 6, The New Exhibit. This episode follows Martin Sinescu, a gentle museum worker who is devoted to the wax figures of the museum's Murderer's Row exhibit. When the exhibit is scheduled to close, Martin is given permission to take the wax figures of infamous killers, such as Jack the Ripper, into his own basement until they can be relocated. Over time, Martin becomes increasingly obsessed with caring for the figures, treating them as if they are alive. His obsession strains his marriage and isolates him from others. Eventually, a series of mysterious murders occur, and Martin insists the wax figures themselves committed the crimes.
It'll make things easier. Where'd she go, by the way?
Well, she took a trip.
A trip? Where?
To see my sister.
Oh. You two have an argument?
Well, everything's settled now.
In the end, his madness consumes him, and he ends up joining the wax figures as the new exhibit. This episode is unsettling because it blurs the line between reality and delusion. The idea of lifelike wax figures coming to life and committing murders is terrifying on its own, playing on the fear of inanimate objects hiding something sinister. Yet what is even scarier is Martin's psychological unraveling. His willingness to sacrifice his relationships, his sanity, and ultimately his humanity for the sake of these grotesque representations of killers. The horror lies not only in the suggestion that the wax figures might truly be alive, but also in the disturbing possibility that Martin himself has become the monster, using the figures as an excuse to indulge in his own violent impulses. The episode captures the fear of losing one's grip on reality and the chilling allure of evil.
At number 5 is 22. This one follows Liz Powell, a dancer recovering in the hospital after exhaustion. Every night she dreams of wandering the hospital halls, descending into the basement morgue, and meeting a cold, expressionless nurse who opens the door and says,
"Room for one more, honey."
The dream repeats again and again until Liz is released and finds herself at an airport. When she sees the same nurse at the plane's boarding gate repeating those same words, her terror becomes deadly real. This episode lands high on the list because it's a nightmare you can't wake up from. The surreal quality of the dream, combined with the repetition, eats away at you until you're not sure what's real and what isn't. And the final twist slams it home. It's the kind of horror that doesn't just scare you while watching, but makes you second guess every deja vu moment you've ever had.
Number 4, The Hitch-Hiker. This episode tells the story of Nan Adams, a young woman driving alone across the country after recovering from a car accident. As she travels, she repeatedly encounters the same strange hitchhiker, an unremarkable, quiet man who always appears ahead of her on the road no matter how far she drives. At first, she dismisses him as coincidence, but his constant reappearance becomes increasingly unnerving. Nan grows more frantic and desperate, trying to outrun him and even calling for help. But no one else seems to notice the man or understand her terror. Finally, she contacts her mother, only to learn the devastating truth. She actually died in the car accident days earlier. The hitchhiker, revealed to be a symbol of death, has been patiently waiting to guide her to the afterlife.
Now the fear is no longer vague. The terror isn't formless. It has a form. He was beckoning me. That thin gray man in the cheap, shabby suit, he was beckoning me. He wanted me to start across. He wanted me to die. I know that now.
The episode is frightening because it plays on the slow, inevitable approach of death and the helplessness of trying to escape it. The hitchhiker himself is terrifying, not because he is overtly menacing, but because of his calm persistence. His blank stare and quiet presence suggest that death is inescapable, no matter how far or fast one runs. Their growing tension, isolation of the open road, and Nan's increasing paranoia amplify the sense of dread. The final realization that she has been dead all along twists the story into an existential horror, forcing the viewer to confront mortality and the futility of resisting it.
Our number 3 pick is The Dummy. Comedian Cliff Robertson plays a ventriloquist who is convinced that his dummy Willie isn't just a prop, but alive, and plotting against him. As his paranoia builds, he tries switching to a new dummy to free himself, but Willie isn't having it.
Just tell me this, wise guy. You did admit that you were superstitious now, didn't you?
Well, on occasion, yes.
But you don't throw salt over your shoulders or cross your fingers or anything like that.
No, I knock on wood.
There, you did it again!
Wait a minute, no, wait a minute.
I resign. From now on, I'm a single, and for you, you can turn in your lap!
The climactic reveal that Willie is the one in control twists the story into a living nightmare, blurring line between man and puppet. This episode is pure nightmare fuel because it taps into the age-old phobia, ventriloquist dummies. They're lifeless yet alive, silent yet whispering, and here the episode takes that unease and makes it real. The ending flips all sense of control, reminding us that sometimes the things we think we control actually control us.
Number 2, Living Doll. This episode tells the story of a young girl named Christy, whose mother buys her a talking doll named Talkie Tina. At first, the doll seems like a harmless toy, but when Christy's cruel stepfather Eric interacts with it, the doll begins speaking directly to him in threatening ways.
My name is Eric Strader, and I'm going to get rid of you.
You wouldn't dare.
Huh? Wouldn't I?
Annabelle would hate you, Christy would hate you, and I would hate you.
So you have feelings?
Doesn't everything?
Then I can hurt you.
Not really, but I could hurt you.
Eric grows increasingly paranoid and desperate as he tries to destroy the doll, attempting to burn it, crush it, and cut it apart. But Talkie Tina always survives unscathed. His obsession with defeating the doll only deepens the tension in the household. In the end, Eric trips over the doll left on the stairs, breaking his neck as Talkie Tina ominously delivers her final line. The episode is frightening because it taps into both supernatural and psychological horror. On one hand, the idea of an innocent child's toy turning malevolent and unstoppable is deeply unsettling. It takes something associated with safety and comfort and twists it into a vessel of menace. On the other hand, the true terror lies also in Eric's abusive nature, as his cruelty towards his family makes the doll's threats feel like justice and punishment.
And finally, at number 1, what else could it be? The crown jewel of the Twilight Zone's horror, Nightmare at 20,000 Feet. William Shatner stars as Bob Wilson, a man recovering from a nervous breakdown, flying home with his wife. But at 20,000 feet in the air, he spots something on the wing of the plane. A figure, a gremlin. No one else can see it, and every time the crew checks, it vanishes. Bob's terror spirals into obsession, leading to that unforgettable moment where he breaks the window and takes matters into his own hands.
Here, quickly! There's a man out there.
What?
Look, he's crawling on...
sorry. Must have been the...
Bob? What is it? Oh, it's nothing, Mrs. Wilson. Can I get you anything?
This episode earns the number 1 spot because it combines primal fears, flying, isolation, and the dread of not being believed. Add in one of television's most iconic monsters and Shatner's unhinged performance, and you've got an episode that defined television horror. It's the perfect storm of suspense, paranoia, and the spectacle, the ultimate Twilight Zone nightmare.
Well, that is our top 10 list, guys. Let us know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Let us know your top picks for what you think are the penultimate scariest episodes of the Twilight Zone.
And until then, Gnomies, thank you for watching. Thanks for stepping into the Twilight Gnome with us.